Best of r/entitled parents episode 163. Subscribe for edit videos daily. So I've been diagnosed with autism, like officially when I was 12. Not a big deal. Finally found out that horrible buzzing noise I get in my brain when noise is too loud isn't actually a thing everyone gets. So a few years after that my family and my neighbor's family go to Disney World. My EM, without telling me, went over my head and called my therapist to get some documents saying we needed a Disney Fast Pass. My whole family and, somehow, my neighbors. EM keeps talking about how lucky we are to be able to get it and how long the lines are, then spends the entire trip snapping at me for asking her to turn the music down or order food I can actually eat. Hey EM, if it weren't for me being so demanding and ungrateful, you wouldn't have that undeserved cheat pass. Thank you. Next. So for the backstory, this woman parks in a disabled bay, knowing it's a disabled bay, after trying to get into normal parking. Honestly IDK how she didn't get in cause there was 2 spaces beside each other. IDK if this is irrelevant but I'm autistic and I can get really bad when a stranger comes too close to me or there's loud noises or sudden movement/noises and my mum is disabled after having cancer when I was 9 and some days can't move. So my mum drove me and my dog to the park. It's semi a council park because there's the normal council park and then like sort of in it/beside it is a greenhouse and a huge garden and in front of a greenhouse is the parking spaces so my mum parks in the disabled parking and I take my dog to have a walk in the park whilst my mum stays in the car. I come back to the car and sit in the passenger seat and while my mum is on her phone she tells me what the car beside us, on my side, done whilst I was away which was coming into the car park. About to park beside my mum then noticed it was a disabled bay and went to try normal spaces. Mind you the car park isn't very big. There's only 2 rows of spaces and there was like 6 spaces free and a lot of them were beside each other and yet she still decides to park in the disabled bay and she clearly doesn't have a disabled badge which my mum has to pay for. Anyways they get out of the car and it's a girl and her friend and they have like 3 kids between them and they're nearly in front of my car when they see me shaking my head and the blonde one who was driving, came over and yanked my car door open and well this is how it went. I didn't really talk because when it comes to strangers I'm nonverbal in a way BK, blonde Karen okay, other Karen M, my mum, BK, were you just shaking your head at me? I proceed to ignore her and make it clear for my mum to do so as well because I don't have to answer her after she yanked my car door open and I went on my phone. BK, excuse me I'm taking to you. She then snatches my phone off me and gives it to her son who she's had in her arms this whole time and so at this point my mum piped up. Yes actually we were. I grabbed my phone which did make the kid cry and I kind of feel bad for it and close my door and lock it in which the okay is at my mum's side so BK goes over to that side and my mum gets out and closes the door so it's not as loud for me. I'm having a panic attack by this point due to her snatching, and basically okay started shouting at my mum. You're parked in a disabled bay which I pay for my family to park in, that's why we were shaking our heads. Okay, we have children you dumb BH. Doesn't mean you can park there you don't pay for it, I do. BTW at this point the BK is just letting her friend argue throwing in a few dumb comments and stuff like that and I don't cares. Okay, don't shout in front of my freaking children or else I'll punch your lights out. My mum ain't even shouting it's all her. I'm tone deaf and even I can tell this point my mum is taking pictures of their car parked there. My cousin is a parking tickets person, and she isn't shouting at all. BK, why are you taking pictures of my car? For proof. BK, we're just going into the greenhouse for Christ's sake. And then they 2 bitches walked away after my mum told them she's phoning the police. We got home and phoned the non-emergency on for assault. Thank you. Next. So this happened about 2 years ago. I was taking swim lessons not because I couldn't swim but because I wanted to get better at swimming. I am on my high school's swim team now but I had always wanted to be on a swim team and the first year of trying out for private swim clubs I was denied entry because I was not fit enough to be able to swim at the pace of everyone else for my age. I was a pretty chubby kid and I still have some meat on my bones. So my parents got me swim lessons at a little place near where I live. The place had no older kids of my age doing swim lessons, so I was put in with the little kids to save us money, otherwise it would have cost us extra because then the lessons would be considered private. Stupid marketing bullshit IDK. Most of the kids there looked up to me and thought I was funny. I got along with the swim instructors pretty well. So anyways, this story takes place on one of the most packed days I think the place has and will ever be. It was a Tuesday BTW. I was coming out of the pool and went into the changing room with my things. I was pretty tired from school and now swimming and wanted to get home ASAP so I could just go home and relax. So here we go. Entitled Mom. EK. Little shit. Me. Your friendly neighborhood OP. LG. Lifeguard. Alright. So I put my stuff down in one of the changing rooms which had no one waiting for it and no one had noticed it was open, so I quickly ran and got it. Then I realized I had forgotten a bag to put my wet clothes in. That was a big mistake. When I got back to the changing room, some stupid kid had thrown all my stuff out and locked himself in there. So alright, fine. I was kinda angry but didn't want to make a scene, and to be honest it wasn't worth it to do so anyways. So I just decided I was gonna wait because this was the only changing room with no line and didn't really feel like walking anymore. A couple of minutes pass as I wonder what the fuck this kid could be doing while staying occupied on my phone. Here comes EM. This mom just looked like a normal mom who was just making sure nothing happened to her child in the changing room because men go through here too. Anyway, so she is waiting behind me and then finally this kid comes out. I make my way and then as I'm doing so, trouble ensues. Excuse me, my son is very tired from swimming and needs to go home and eat dinner, so can we go ahead of you? On any other day than that day I would have said yes because I'm a pushover, but today just wasn't my day. Me, no, sorry, I've been waiting here for a good 10 minutes now and I'm also tired and need to eat dinner. Apparently this wasn't a good enough excuse and this lady wasn't having any of it. What? No, number. That wasn't an offer, that was a demand. Me, laughs. I'm sorry ma'am, but the answer is still no. But I have a hungry little boy and he's tired and just wants to go home. At this point I was really sick of her shit. Me, I'm also hungry and tired and want to go home. Yeah, but he's much younger than you and he is being well behaved and he just wants to go home. Me, well I'm sorry but you're just gonna have to wait ma'am. This really pissed her off. I was in the process of closing the door when she grabs the door and slams it open. As I said before, it wasn't an offer, it was a demand. Get out of this changing room before I do it myself. This got the attention of everyone in the changing room. Me, laughs hysterically. Are you kidding me? You think this is a joke? Get out now. She grabs my wrist and I jerk it away from her. I also happened to drop my phone and the little shit picked it up. Me, hey, can I have that back? EK, no, I want to go home and you're not letting me. Give me the changing room and we will give you back your phone. I just snatched it out of his hand, closed the door and quickly locked it, changed as fast as I could while insults from her were being thrown at me along with kick and punching of the changing room door and her kid who kept trying to squeeze under the little area under the door. After a minute I finished changing, packed my bag and prepared to be berated about my selfishness and all the fun stuff, but instead was met with a lifeguard who was escorting the woman and her kid out of the changing room. She was still yelling awful shit about me. After a while, the lifeguard came back. He asked what happened. I told him, and then the following occurred. LG, we assure you that incidents like this do not go unpunished and we can assure you that this woman has been banned from all of our establishments. On behalf of Swim Place Name, we would like to offer you free lessons for the rest of your time here at Swim Place Name. For your inconvenience. I thanked him and said yes. Unfortunately I was almost done with swim lessons but I got like 2 or 3 weeks free. The swim lessons weren't cheap so I just took it and left it. So I left. Hopped in the car my mom was waiting to pick me up in, and told the family about what happened over dinner. My parents couldn't be happier that they didn't have to pay for the rest of my swim lessons. TL. Doctor, EM wants to take my changing room. Gets banned from her son's swim school forever. Thank you. Next. This story resulted in me doing something that I didn't wanna do. It was extremely heartbreaking and I was hella mad at the EP. Since I don't wanna waste your time, Here's some context. The TL. Doctor segment is at the end. This occurred 6 years ago. My neighbor next to my house was very poor and tried his best to feed his family. Until one day, the parent 2 houses from mine marched to his house and went on his lawn. That's when I spotted them since I was playing some basketball outside. Here's what happened. EP. Nice bushes. N. Thank you. It took me a couple hours to do. Since he made some pretty cute bush architectures. EP. I didn't ask. N. Oh. Okay. EP notices his kids aren't outside. EP. Your kids must be bored of your dog, and since my children are in need for a dog. N. No, please. I paid so much for this dog and I don't want it stolen. EP. How much? N. $200. EP. Exactly. Your dog is now mine, since you don't know how much you paid for it. Me. That makes no sense at all. Flips camera on. The neighbor's children, around 5, came out as they saw the wild EP trying to grab the dog from the N's arms. N. No. EM then slaps N and runs off with 2 kids chasing her. Wild dog in arms. The N starts crying on the sidewalk. I rush over to him and his crying children. Me. Are you okay, man? N. No. She took my only hope for comfort. Whenever I see him trimming his bushes with his dog, he's beaming ear to ear, but without. He has a tired face. I then go over to the children. They were making a waterfall of tears. I can't blame them. I had an idea, but it would probably backfire. I go to the boy and say, you wanna get your dog back? Boy, yes. I really loved him. Me. I know a trick. Boy, okay. Me. Alright, gimme a second. I go to the neighbor. Me. I know how to get your dog back. I just need your son with me. N. Whatever it takes. Me. Thank you. N. No, thank you. Me. No problem. I go back to the kid. Me. You ready to do this? Boy. Wiping tears. Yes. Me. Okay, if everything goes to plan, I'll be able to get your cute dog back. I rush into my house and grab a pair of binoculars, climb up to the roof and look through the EPS window. I saw the EP with the dog. The dog got out of her arms and scratched the door. The EP then grabbed the dog firmly and threw it into the backyard. Everything was going perfectly, like getting a 40x combo on Street Fighter. I climb down and go to the boy. Me. I want you to meet me at 7 p.m. This should work perfectly. At 7 p.m. I had black clothing on. The kid had his pajamas on. We snuck to the EPS backyard and climbed the fence. The dog was still there. Me. Stay at the gate door. I'll get the dog. You grab the dog and run back to the house. Boy, I feel like a ninja. Me. You'll be the coolest ninja. I get into the backyard and spot the dog whimpering with a scratch on his snout. I let him continue whimpering while letting the boy grab it so the EP thinks the dog is still in the backyard. I then start climbing the fence and as soon as I put my right leg over, the EP comes out with a freaking knife. I was frozen for about 3 nanoseconds and climbed quicker. She spotted me and almost stabbed my ankle. I just got a scratch with a couple blood drips. I rushed over to the neighbor with his child as the EP makes her way to the front door still with the knife in hand. I quickly call 911 and since they were about 5 minutes from us, it took about 3 minutes to get to our location. Pretty speedy, I must say. The police came and saw the EP marching toward us with a knife. I stood in front of the family willing to take whatever the EP throws. The police tried to call her over and she didn't listen. She marched and marched until one of the cops went behind her and tased her. She fell down unconscious and was put in the back of the police car. I thanked the police and they drove off. The neighbor and his children were petting the dog as the dog licked them in joy. I felt happy for them. So happy I thought of giving them a gift. After 2 weeks I decided to get a dog, but not for myself, for the neighbor. When I came up to the doorstep, the neighbor came out and saw me with a big package. I asked to come inside and he said sure. I went inside and asked for the kids to come down. They ran down the stairs with their dog and saw me with the package. I opened it for them and out leaped a German Shepherd puppy. They were squealing with joy and their dog was going absolutely nuts. And that's the last I've heard of them. So as of typing this, it turns out that their dog was a female and mine, now theirs, was male. and you can guess what happened. They had puppies and they are hella cute. I'll try to keep you guys updated on here if you want. TL. Doctor, poor neighbor's puppy gets stolen by a Karen. I get one of the kids to help me get him out. Turns out Karen is trying to eat him. We make it out and call the cops. Karen is in jail. I get the parents another puppy. They grow up as of me typing this and had puppies. I'll try to keep updating you lads. Edit. Just to let you guys know, you are allowed to downvote this if you think it's fake. I won't cause trouble. You can have your own opinions. Edit 2. If you wanna see the dog pictures, just DM me. Thank you. Next. I am a director of a daycare. We have been closed for the past 6 weeks due to COVID. Part of reopening came with new state laws and company policies. New state law is that parents are not allowed inside the buildings, and that staff have to bring children in and out of the center. We have a giant sign out front saying that we are doing curbside drop-off and pick-up only. The amount of parents who feel like they don't have to listen is insane. They feel like I should bend the rules for them and their angels. I've also had parents get mad. They have to physically get their child out of the car, so I don't have to get into their car to get them. Our new police is that we aren't allowing children to bring personal belongings from home with them. I have had many parents of school-age kids throw tantrums over it. Heaven forbid their child has to leave their tablet at home and interact with the world around them. We are doing our best to keep the children and staff safe and keep some germs out of the center. The amount of parents who are showing their entitled side is ridiculous. Thank you. Next. You read that correctly. My neighbor just told me, you need to get rid of your fucking goat. It's a fucking nuisance. Now this goat isn't quite a month old yet, so he wouldn't survive if I got rid of him now. I told her as much, but she just kept going on about I have kids who refuse to stay away from it because they think it's funny, or it does it cry. So either get rid of it or I'm calling the cops for you making a disturbance. I told her to go right ahead as I knew they wouldn't do anything because just down the street, another neighbor's cows who moo often and it's a baby. So yeah, that was an interesting morning. She's also told me to get rid of my dog because he's dangerous. St. Bernard. I ironically named Cujo. I just ignored her that time. Thank you. Next. This is a cross post of a post I made on EntitledParents. TL. Doctor is in the title. Not 100% accurate, but it's a quick rundown of dialogue from Eek. Cast. Me. Who do you think? Eek. Entitled kid. EM. Entitled mom. This happened to me yesterday, and it's pretty ridiculous. Context. My grandfather recently moved to a new apartment. He moved because his rent for his apartment in the old folks home went up by almost $100 a month. So after some searching, he found a cheaper apartment in a much nicer location. He decided on this one because this apartment had way more space. He had to rent a U-Haul truck to move everything, and obviously he couldn't move everything on his own, so he told us a day in advance that he'd need me, my brother, and my mother to help move everything. We got everything into his new apartment in just 3 hours. The next day, he told me he had a surprise for me waiting in our minivan. The surprise was his old sound system. I was ecstatic, and so before I set everything up, I decided to run some tests and then some before hooking it up to my PC. Nerdy talk. The sound system consists of a Pioneer VSX305A/V stereo receiver that was made in June of 1996. It may be old, but do not judge it by its age. Make no mistake, this thing can deliver. This beast is a 5-channel surround sound amp with remote control, 6 different outputs, Dolby Pro Logic, and even different sound program control modes. The stereo speakers are KLHAV1001B speakers, with the Fisher WSC424 speaker and a WSR424 speaker. These 2 speakers are behind the monitor for mono sound, but they are wired up to the left and right channels, meaning I have both a mono and stereo output for a more immersive sound. I also have a KLHS100S subwoofer. Main story. Riding off my high of success from the functionality and sheer quality of this new setup, I immediately told my friends in a Discord server, because I knew I had some audiophile friends in there. Now, truth be told, I didn't know that Eek was actually entitled, because I've never actually talked to him directly, and I never really saw any messages he sent, because he was really inactive and had only joined the server like a day and a half before this. 5 minutes after I made the announcement, I received a Discord voice call from EK, but when I answered, it wasn't just EK there. EM was also present, waiting to speak. I knew she was there because I heard her say, "Good, you're connected, EK," in a squeaky, prepubescent voice. "Hey OP, I saw your announcement on your new audio system. Me, glad you noticed, and thanks, bossman. Pretty impressive, huh? EK, it sure is, and are you selling it? Because I was wondering if you want money for it so I could have it." Me, what? You're asking to buy it? EK, duh, of course. Me, unfortunately I can't do that. This belonged to my grandfather, and I just got it today, for free. EM, cutting me off. So what? My son wants it. How much will you accept for it? Me, I already said it isn't for sale, Mom. EM, okay, since you won't give me a price point, I'll offer you $10 PayPal. What's your email address that you use for it? I'll tell you the PO box later. Me, laughing hysterically inside. 1. It's not for sale, and 2. Even if it was, $10 wouldn't cover all of the equipment. Heck, $10 is only going to get you a cord. EK, just take the money and give Emmy your stuff. EM, now look what you've done. You've made him mad because you're being inconsiderate. You should be ashamed of yourself. Me, after personally muting him, I'm the one being inconsiderate? That's funny, because both of you are being choosing beggars over this. Who do you think is in the wrong here? For the last time, the answer is no. I left the call, and blocked and banned EK from the server. EK kept trying to send me ridiculously immature insults through sixalts, but I can only assume he gave up after he realized that it was a fruitless venture, because I blocked each one as soon as I read the messages from each one. He hasn't tried to contact me since then, and I did have a great laugh after all of that happened. It was quite a predicament. Also, I decided to take a little video to show you what my audio system looks like all set up on my PC desk. You can find that video here. Also, never mind the mess of wires. By the way, it's so hard to cable manage. Edit 1. Damn. 500 upvotes. I really didn't expect this post to blow up so much. Thanks you guys. Edit 2. This post got Emmy to 4000 karma. Thank you. Click here for a video of me playing dance music from the 1990s on the system to celebrate. Edit 3. You know, I didn't expect it to blow up like that overnight, but apparently now I have almost 2000 upvotes and a gold award. Thank you guys.